All right, welcome back to the Run.down Postgame show here on the Strickland YouTube channel. If you're listening to this the day after Strickland Podcast Network, I am Sam. I'm joined by Schwinn. Jeff will probably be joining us shortly. Knicks lose 144 to 122 to the Los Angeles Clippers. Pretty brutal game. We'll get into all that, of course. But before we get into all that, all the major sports are in action this week with the college football playoffs ready to kick off. BetOnline is your number one destination for all your sports wagering info, including news for pro football, the NBA, upcoming fights, and NHL games this season. Head to the website today to get into the action and see all the updated odds for the week. Remember to use promo code BLEAV, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online where the game starts. Pretty brutal game from the Knicks. Pretty brutal game all around from just Alan Hahn, refs, rotation, just everything. There was nothing about this game that was really redeeming for the most part. I mean, I don't even know where to really begin with this. I mean, do we just want to start with the rotation, which is constantly I saw a tweet from Ariel that kind of made me think about things. Is well, at least realize something was that all our best defenders are in fact on the bench now um, to start these games, and we're just absolutely getting blitzed by teams. And like this trip was the absolute worst timing for. I mean, it's obviously bad to have Mitch out regardless, but this was the absolute worst timing for Mitch to be out because defense just cannot stay with teams at all, and like there's no backside protection that you can rely on with Mitch that used to be there. And you saw it today. I mean, the Clippers, they hung 144 on us, and like I said when Mitch went out, we're going to end up being in shootouts with a lot of these teams. And some nights, you know, our guys are going to have it and going to be able to stick with it, and tonight was not one of those nights. I mean, Jalen Brunson kind of, we spoke about this yesterday, Shwin, how we thought he might have, you know, gave all he had yesterday, and would he have enough juice left? It didn't look like he was gassed today, but it just didn't look like he had that extra oomph that we needed that he had in the Suns game. But yeah, I mean, your thoughts on today's game? I mean, your under title card says rotation stinks observer, so I assume that you're gonna get right into the rotation of things.
I mean,
Um,
I don't really think there's that much to say about it. I mean, it's what
yeah,
it is. Would they have won the game if the rotation was better? Probably not. Like, for the most part, were there things defensively they sucked at individually, collectively? Sure. But for the most part, I thought that the Clippers made a lot of tough shots too. And they also got a really good fucking whistle tonight, I'll tell you that.
30 free throws in the
Which
first half.
which, inevitably leads to getting better quality shots. That being said, when you deny what actually is working to to go in favor of what you want to work, you will probably end up losing more than not. You might feel really fucking good about hitting on 18 on blackjack, but guess what? You're a fucking idiot if you hit on 18. Even if you hit a 3 and you get 21. Like, you're a fucking moron if you hit on 18. And I think the really, really frustrating thing about this to me, like the most frustrating thing about this tonight, right, is Josh Hart gets ejected for God knows why he got ejected. I have no idea. That was an insane ejection. I mean, did anybody even? If you got a tech, I'd have been like, okay, fine, I get that. Fucking double tech there. That was ridiculous.
The refs have
Fine.
been absolutely abysmal with that, by the way, this year.
I have no idea what that was about. He gets a double tech. This is the perfect night to just. Oh, this is like your fucking layup. There's no other. Oh, just fucking play quickly more minutes. And he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. He stuck to his dumbass fucking rotations again, right? Subs out quickly with 6 minutes left, I think, in the first half, if I remember, something like that, which has been his designated rotation recently. To bring back in DiVincenzo, or it seems to be that Randle comes back in, and then they whatever. We don't need to get into the specifics of it, but that's what tends to happen. And look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you quickly played some fucking, next level. It wasn't like exactly a fucking 10-minute masterclass of genius or something, but thought he played pretty well. Thought he definitely played better than other guys who got more minutes than him. And it doesn't really matter what the fuck I think. The data will continue to prove me to be fucking true and to be right. For some reason, whatever the fuck you think about him, I don't give a shit what you think about him. I don't care what clips you fucking find. I don't care if, Kyle Lowry backed him up in the post one time. I don't give a shit about any of that. The data consistently proves, for whatever reason, magically, very, very, like maybe just through fucking black magic and science and Quickly's belief in Jesus, the Knicks magically win their minutes when he's on the floor over the course of a season, over the course of games, over the course of quarters, whatever period you want to designate. For him to get 18 minutes or 19 minutes tonight, in a game the Knicks lost, but what did they end up losing by? Fucking 22 or something? Who cares?
22, and it was 30 when the starters checked out.
Yeah, doesn't matter. It just shows a fundamental misunderstanding on Tibbs's part of what the fuck he's watching. He has no idea what he's watching right now. He doesn't. And if he does, all right, let me just step back here for a second. I don't think Tibbs is a fucking idiot, but I think Tibbs goes into games and goes into situations, goes into everything with, this is what I perceive as being what will work and what makes sense and what matters. And it takes a lot of fucking data for him to come to a different conclusion. And for whatever reason, Dante DiVincenzo passes the good enough to be a small guard next to Jalen Brunson test. But Emmanuel Quigley doesn't. Why? I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Skin tone.
I have no idea. I have no clue why. But it's pretty frustrating because I think Dante DiVincenzo is actually a really good player. And it makes me very annoyed that I have to almost root for this fucking guy to not play well so that a player better than him can just play more minutes. And I want to just be, look, me and Jeff talk about this a lot, and I want to state myself very clear here. Jeff comes at this from a very different perspective than I do. I don't give a shit if Emmanuel Quigley starts or not. I really don't. What I care about is, do you play him enough fucking minutes? And the point that Jeff consistently makes, which is true and which is correct, is I can say that. But until Tom Thibodeau exhibits an ability to adjust his rotations and in-game decision-making to reflect that, it doesn't matter. All that matters is, unless he starts, he will always be capped at
25 minutes.
28 minutes max in a great game. And I think that's the part that's really frustrating. And I'm just going to say this last part, but like, the irony of landing a home run free agent like Jalen Brunson because his former team had no fucking idea what they were watching. And what is going on with Emmanuel Quigley right now?
He's going to be a Spur, man.
Is pretty impressive. He's not going to be a Spur. That team is fucking stupid. What have they done in the last 3 years that makes you think they have any idea what the fuck's going on?
That's a joke.
I feel like the Magic are the front runner.
Yeah, I was about to say the Magic are going to.
The Magic are not signing. They just drafted Anthony Black 6th overall, and they got Jalen Suggs, and they have Cole Anthony. They're not signing him. I know you guys want to live. Look, we can all live in like the fucking like, oh my god, we're gonna lose Emmanuel Quigley to this fucking mystery team world, but like, get the fuck out of my face with that shit.
I just want to comment on one thing you talked about the data, because it's something that XJ talks about all the time. There's this insinuation from a lot of fans and from coaches that basketball is a solved sport, that we understand how valuable each individual aspect of the game is just from watching it, and that we can properly weigh them to figure out how good somebody is. Like, if you just think about any basketball conversation you've had with anybody, the way they talk about things, just think about any debate, whether it's on Knicks Twitter, back in the day when stupid people were like, oh, like, let's make this civil war of RJ versus Quickly, and then you had one side like, well, Quickly can't get in 2 feet in the paint like RJ. And then the other side was like, oh, like, you had all these people who were arrogantly deducing that they could, proclaiming that they could perfectly solve how valuable certain parts of the game were. And coaches do it too. But the reason that these tell-all impact stats are so good is that they don't do that. The only thing they're telling you is how much a player is adding or taking away from the team. And so this is the 4th year now where this data is overwhelmingly telling us that no matter what your eyes tell you, and like, it's funny because Benji posted his grades and Benji made a comment that was like Quickly +3. Like, sometimes I feel like Benji holds back a little bit. Like, and I know he wants to say a little bit more, but he was just like Quickly +3. And somebody in the comment section was like, how was Quickly +3? I thought he definitely shot poorly, and I thought his defense was bad. And like, I didn't say anything, but it's just like, are you sure it's not just your eyes aren't perfect and you don't know 100? Like, and I'm not saying like maybe that guy's a really smart basketball fan. None of our eyes are perfect. That's the point. Like, we don't know how to, from one watch, perfectly weigh what's going on the court and figure out who is impacting the game the most. That's why the data is so valuable. Is the data perfect? No, it's not perfect. Film matters too, but to have the film meet or equate to what the good data says, you need multiple viewings and multiple perspectives and to really, really know what's going on. So I'm just done with the idea that Tibbs can be like, oh, well, we didn't want Quickly out there because we needed more size at what. Dude, like, fucking enough already, because the data is saying that maybe that's just not as important as you think it is. Maybe the things that Quickly does well overwhelm the things that his shortcoming. Clearly they do, because whenever he plays, good things happen. So this is just a really long way of saying that even somebody as smart as Tibbs, even somebody who's as seasoned as Tibbs, he's valuing his own biases and projecting them on the rotation over what the data that is better than his biases is saying. And I'm sorry, like, you want your coach to be in charge. You want your coach to have a firm grip on the wheel. But if you're a member of the front office, especially the analytics department of a $1 billion organization, somebody has to step in and just be like, look, dude, enough's enough. Look here, look at this. Like, this is what the data is saying. Please follow it. I don't care that he doesn't check this little box that you don't like. Him playing more is good. Please.
It's not even about him, right? It's like, this is the thing that, like, I don't know if we agree on this or not. I've kind of come to this feeling over the offseason or whatever, but like, it doesn't really matter to me anymore, like, what I think about Immanuel Quickley's ultimate ceiling as an individual player. All I know is that when he's on the floor, Randle benefits, Jalen Brunson benefits. Your 2 most important players with how you deploy your rotations benefit from this guy being on the floor. So why would you not play him more? And you keep trying to find other solutions. Or maybe the solution is staring in your face. Like, look, am I saying that if the Knicks just start Immanuel Quickley or they play him more minutes next to these guys, they're going to win the championship? No, that's not what I'm saying.
Right.
Maybe. But, like, they'd probably be better. I mean, look, I don't think this is not a criticism of Dante DiVincenzo, who I think is a good player. But, like, you can dissect the data and not. I think he's probably, I mean, I'm pretty sure about this. He's probably the Knicks' biggest net negative player right now in the rotation.
It's not close.
Yeah.
It's not even close. He is, his net differential right now, it's already updated. His net differential right now is minus 9.9 per 100. They lose his minutes by 2.9 per 100, and they're plus 7.0 per 100 when he doesn't play.
Right. And I think that this actually has much less to do with him as a player than it has to do with how he's being deployed and who he's playing with. And I think this is also the case for Quentin Grimes. I think both those guys are being punished in a lot of ways for who they're playing with, the lineups they're in, whatever. There's an obvious solution here, or at least there is an option to explore. At the very, very minimum, there is an option to explore. But Tom Thibodeau doesn't want to do that because he likes Quickly as his bench guard or something, and he has these rotations that he's already got drilled into his head, and that's what he wants to do.
Roles for the guys.
And it's a joke at this point. Like, I'm sorry, I don't really give a shit that he pulled Quickly when he did in the fourth quarter. What I do care about is that he didn't pull him to put in like fucking Taj, right? No. He pulled him, and I think he pulled RJ that time to put in Brunson and Randle. So he still had this fucking absurd notion of like, we can still win this game, which, okay, fine. You can still win this game. 18 points down with 6 minutes left. That's crazy, but we've also seen that happen in the modern NBA. I get that. If your fucking version of coming back into this game, to make a comeback in this game, involved taking Quickly off the floor, you have no idea what you're watching. Like, I'm sorry, like, and that's not to say like Quickly was some perfect fucking amazing player tonight, but it's about understanding like which guys are giving you the best chance to do the thing that you're trying to do. And
I mean, he said against the Jazz, "Oh, no, he wasn't on a minutes restriction. We were just looking for a spark." Did he see the third quarter today when it was a 22-point deficit and literally the first two plays Quickly was on the court for? He grabbed rebounds, raced the ball up the court, and it was a 9-0 run in under a minute. That is the definition of a spark. So I'll be curious to see if next time the Knicks need a spark, which way he goes. Because for 4 years now, all the sparks have happened when a certain player is playing, and
he is the definition of a spark, of the spark, right, for the Knicks. He always has been.
He is the Knicks spark plug. And you know, Schwinn, you said it the other night, like, Quickly is the only player I've ever seen who has to earn his minutes every single night he plays. Like, every single night. It's not even playing well for the most part. If he's not shooting well, it's just like, well, he doesn't have it tonight, so we're going to cut his rotation short. It's every single time. Like, there are nights when he is shooting well, and it's like,
he shot fucking well the other night against who was it? Utah, where the fuck it was?
The Jazz.
The Jazz.
He was like 6 of 8, and like he hit all like almost all his threes.
Yeah, I'm sick and tired of hearing about it's about shooting. It's not about shooting. It's just about what Tibbs thinks. And like I actually, like, I know me and Jeff probably disagree on this, but like I actually do believe Tibbs at face value, and he says like he values Quickly, but I don't think that he can overcome the fact that he values Quickly over his own like weird like beliefs of like not messing up the rotation and like what, like, no, certain guys have to be X size to like meet what needs to happen. Like, that's where I think his brain just like totally explodes. But yeah, like I'm honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm so sick and tired of talking about the rotations and Quickly because, like, I don't think we can. There's no point. There's nothing to be said about making this point over and over again. Like, we know what this is. We know what we believe. We know what the data says. We know what the data has said for years before this. And I would like Jeff probably has the fucking numbers today, but I promise you, like, Emmanuel Quickly looks even better today by on court and on off than he did coming into this game. So it is what it is. Yeah,
they're plus 8.1 per 100 when he plays, minus 2.4 per 100 when he sits.
Yeah,
he is one of two Knicks whose off-court minutes they are losing.
Josh Hart, maybe him and Josh Hart, the two most like. Are they the best players in the team? I don't know, but they may be the two most important players in the team.
They should watch some Celtics tape, because the Celtics have fully embraced the idea that role players can actually be more valuable when you just let them loose. Like, their team is one superstar and one faux superstar and then three super role players. That is what they're starting and their starting lineup right now is fucking blitzing teams. Their net rating is plus 22 per 100. They're just obliterating teams. And first of all, Derek White leads the team in EPM. So a role player, they have basically said, we're going to play this super role player 38 minutes a night and see what he can do. And he's 14th in the NBA in EPM and leading the Celtics in EPM. Do I think Derek White is actually their most valuable player? No, because I think that you just need somebody like Tatum who, when things get tough, can just do stuff. Like I think, of course. But the fact that
they're discrete skills, like I was actually, I honestly was, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Jeff, but I was actually thinking about this while watching this game tonight, where like I was wondering, like, wow, like the Knicks keep winning these like minutes quickly on the floor, but like, when I'm watching him and I'm watching Brunson, I'm like, I feel like Brunson is playing better, but it's not, like, something is off here. And I think it's just like Brunson has an ability, and this is an ability, and it's not an ability everybody has. I don't think Quickly has this ability, which is why I don't think he really has true superstar potential of like getting shots off, like being a good contested shot shooter. Like stars have to be good contested shot shooters to a certain level. And I don't know. I don't think Quickly has that in him. But what I do know is that if you play Quickly with guys that are good contested shot shooters, magically, those teams tend to win their minutes. But yeah, I was wondering this. I was like kind of like thinking, I was like having a real like thought about this, watching this disaster of a game, while watching Jalen Brunson get off like some shots in the mid range, which he didn't even hit. But I was like, but he took them and he can get those off, and those are clean looks for him. And I'm, over like the course of, again, if we're going to talk about Emmanuel Quickly over, bet on him in the aggregate, I don't really give a shit what Jalen Brunson's shooting from the mid range right now, because on aggregate, I'm betting that it'll figure itself out. But like that's it's that like what you're talking about with Derek White, Jason Tatum, like it's the same exact concept, right? Where it's like nobody's saying that fucking Derek White's better than Jason Tatum, and nobody's even saying he's more important, but he is important to that team, and he's important to Jason Tatum in how he amplifies his impact. And like that is what's so frustrating to me with how Tibbs has and continues to manage Quickly, where it's like he seems to like he needs him to do more on ball, which like fine, whatever. I get that as like kind of like hey, if you're going to be running the point when Brunson's off the floor, sure, I can understand like why you want him to be. I need him to get more like 2 feet in the paint more, whatever the fuck it is, right? But it makes less sense to me than how he manages them as a complementary piece to those players who he already believes in as able and capable of running offense and creating shots. Because literally every year, the data shows that he kills it with those lineups, and those lineups kill with him on the floor. And when you take him off, and even if you put in like a good player like Quentin Grimes, a good player like Dante DiVincenzo, it's not the same.
It's so wild because it's like all of last year's like stuff that happened. It's like it doesn't exist for Thibs. Like it's like every year it's like, okay, this is a brand new year. Last year doesn't exist. Like you have to show me again that you can do that. And like he's not even giving him the chance, which brings me to the self-fulfilling prophecy thing where like, if he already has these preconceived notions of players, like they're just going to naturally fall into those preconceived notions because he won't allow them to expand on what they're capable of, unfortunately.
Well, that's what happened last season too. We've played 2 more games than when the rotation change happened last season. They were 10.
And also there was a bunch of guard injuries last year as well.
Right.
RJ got hurt a ton. Brunson got hurt a ton as well.
Yeah. But even despite that, I will say that, Quickly had a ton of momentum to end his second season. he was, the bright spot of a lost season. And everybody was expecting his role, even with Brunson. Everybody was like, I mean, you got to keep playing this guy. Look at the data, and go look at his minutes per game for the first. I don't think they were this low, but I do think they were pretty low the first 23 games of the season. I would be surprised if his minutes per game were over 25.
He also had a rough start to the season as well.
But
a little. It wasn't as good as this year's start.
Yeah, that's true. But I actually don't know. I'm
at least offensively, like the shooting numbers were pretty rough. I mean, that was always the case with Quickly to start the years. And then throughout the year, he found himself.
He was poor at putting the ball in the basket, but
everything else he was good at.
Yeah, they kept crushing in his minutes. So to me, like that's Schwinn's point is like, let's make a really exaggerated example. Lately, Tibbs has basically been playing Brunson and Randle the entire first and third quarters together. If Quickly started at 2 and Tibbs was just like, you know what, fuck it. Like, we're just going to play those 3 the entire quarter for whatever reason. I don't think he should do that. I know that the Knicks have a log jam at guard, so that wouldn't even make sense. It would be tough to get Grimes and even. I'm just making a hypothetical. If he did this, regardless of what Quickly shot, that 3-man unit would just absolutely crush because he's such an additive and complementary piece. And to actively suppress the amount of time that you let your best role player be that additive piece to your best stars, it's really bad coaching. That's all it is. Like, he basically is just like, no, I actually just see you as this backup point guard. Like, you're gonna give Brunson a reprieve. But anytime Brunson's on the court, we actually need more size next to him. So you're not that guy. So you're going to get the 8 to 12 minutes that Brunson sits. And then
this is somehow like a regression from last year, by the way. Like, it's fucking insane. Like, he somehow like doesn't want to play them anymore together, even though last year he did that a shit ton, and that was like those were our best minutes. Like, literally, like they were our best minutes.
And I feel like he used to do a lot of like guard pick and roll with them, or at least he tried to do like guard pick and pop stuff with those two last year.
He does it. He still does it now, but it's usually off of like set plays. They run that fucking Spain pick and roll and whatever. But like that's like it doesn't really. Like, again, me and Jeff can sit here and fucking talk about X's and O's or fucking whatever. But like it's just
Schwinn. I do want to say I'm curious what you guys think about this. I do think that in the minutes they do play together, whether it's Brunson or it's Tibbs, they do defer to Quickly running the offense a higher percentage of the time.
I think it's Brunson.
You think it's Brunson?
I think it's Brunson. I don't think Tibbs has. I think Tibbs is just like has like very basic tenets on offense that guys have to follow. That's what I think. I think that's like Brunson being a good teammate. Whatever. Can we talk about something else? I really don't want to talk.
Can we talk about the defense? Hawkeye 420 says a week and a half of garbage defense. This can't all be Mitch related. Is Tibbs a fucking idiot now? And I kind of said, I think I asked or at least mentioned.
I unfortunately feel this is very tied into the discussion we just had. So I'd rather we didn't talk about this, but we can talk about this because we have to talk about things.
Schwinn, I don't know if you knew this.
I saw it. Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, Quickly's individual defensive rating actually went down over this stretch. Mm-hmm. So like they've allowed they're averaging allowing 140 points a game or whatever, but Quickly when Quickly's on the court, the Knicks are allowing fewer points per 100 possessions. So he's just playing less. So look, I don't think all the Knicks answers can be solved by just playing Quickly 40 minutes a game. I do think it would help, but other guys have to try. I saw Schwinn get into a little bit of a tiff on the timeline.
Yeah, so I was going to mention it too because
I guess I'm just going to say it, and I'm going to give full disclosure. Like, Schwinn doesn't know I'm bringing this up. Haven't talked to Schwinn about it. Dude, Randle's effort tonight was dog shit. And, that's okay. He's been great lately. But we don't have to do this thing where, he's playing well lately, so we've now moved to a point where you're not allowed to say when he's not. Dude, there was a turnover that Randle had. That was a bad turnover. God. Fine. And he was even. He was level with the guy who got the steal. And a 3-on-3 turned into a 3-on-2 because Randle just didn't want to move. It was at half court. And look, you don't want to take one bad example of effort and amplify it across an entire game. But he was dying on screens. Kawhi Leonard got this 3 at the top of the key because Randle just didn't run around a screen. Like this idea.
And then he complained to the ref after that one. He was like, "Oh, like," and like, look, I want to be very clear about this. He might have been right. It might have been a moving screen. The refs were terrible with the Knicks tonight. Like I don't deny that. But like, it's so it's not that he died on the screen. It's that he was not aware in the moment. Like he was playing from behind. So like when I say playing from behind, it's like when it's like you're playing. You know, we've all had a shitty internet connection when we're playing online. Like when you got shitty internet connection and your fucking thing is lagging. Like that's what it looked like tonight on defense with him. And that's what it looks like for him on a lot of nights when he has his bad defensive moments. I want to be first of all, I don't think the Knicks lost this game because of Randle's defensive effort. I really don't. Like that was not why they lost the game. I don't even know if that was like his breakdowns were more like individual breakdowns versus team breakdowns, which I don't know how exactly to parse this, but for me, they are different. And like, that's why I just don't put like, trust me, like there are games where I've watched Randle play similar levels of defense and had a lot more of a problem with it. This was not one of those nights. And also Kawhi Leonard just made some fucking shots that like, okay, like it happened. Like, I mean, there was a play.
Bro was unconscious from 3 in the third quarter.
Yeah, and there was a play, I think, maybe at the end of the third or mid-third, he had this fucking like baseline turnaround over Randle who was right in his face, and it was absurd. It's like, okay,
it was right after the 9-0 run. There was a 9-0 run, and the Knicks cut the lead to 13, and I was like, all right, they're going to get back into this thing, and then they played an amazing defensive possession out of a timeout. There were Lou did not draw up a good ATO at all. Kawhi gets the ball, ISO on Randle. Randle's locked in on this possession. He actually played really good defense on this possession.
He played great. It was great. It was great.
He can test the shot perfectly. That was such a killer that went in. Sorry to interrupt you, but that was just so brutal.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. Like that, because that's exactly what, like, so like to me, like this is not even close to like some horrible fucking defensive Randle game. But there was a stretch from basically the end of the second quarter to the start of the third quarter, and in the start of the third quarter, I should say, where it was obvious, like it was obvious to me anyways, it's just how I feel again, that like he was just, whatever the reason was, maybe it could have just been like the whistle, how bad it was got to him, whatever the fuck the reason was, it doesn't really matter to me.
We've seen that happen multiple times before.
Maybe it's that simple, but like whatever the fucking reason was, it happened. And even like Han during his fucking blubbering,
what a brutal commentator,
insane, just like endless praise of like, oh my god, Norman Powell's hands, oh I'm gonna jerk myself
look at the hands
over Norman Powell. But he mentioned that at one point, I think it was like when Randle got an and one, he was like, oh, like look at Brunson, going to pump him up, and like fuck, and I'm like, and I didn't see it, I didn't, but I felt like that was good because Randle's energy in that period of the game was down. Like you could see it. Like you could see it defensively. It was down. He was not locked in. He was not where it needed to be. But I actually thought, like after that timeout, even after that that shot from Kawhi, I thought he was fine defensively. But like these are the margins against great teams, and when great teams are hitting shots, especially in the league now, the way it is, the way points are scored, how every team, it feels like, yeah, look, we can sit here and be like, oh, the Knicks defense sucked. Yeah, it has sucked. But like, you look at box scores around the league tonight and or around the league in general, and it's like, dude, teams are scoring like 110. Bad offensive teams are scoring 110 a night. You know what I mean? Like, this league is different. So I don't think like, oh, Randle playing bad defense is the reason that for like Randle playing bad defense for like, I don't know, like fucking 12 minutes is why the Clippers scored 144. But it does matter in the sense of like when you're in a game against a team, which whatever you think about the Clippers overall, they are playing at a high level right now. They're playing at a high clip right now. The Clips are playing an iClip. But
Wow.
like that's when it matters. That's when it matters. Like it doesn't matter if buddy, you can mail it in against the fucking Raptors. We saw it. It's fine. You can mail it in against them as long as you're scoring, and it's great. It's fantastic. You can't mail it in against the Clippers for any period of time, because if you mail it in for 12 minutes against the Clippers, they have a chance to just blitz you off the floor, and they did. And it wasn't just him, by the way. Like it was not just Randle. Like there are multiple guys who are bad on defense. Brunson was awful tonight on defense, I thought. Jericho Sims, man, like I honestly I just have a tough time criticizing him because like
that brother is brutal, man.
I feel like you wanted to say a different word, Sam.
Nah, I'll keep it up, brother.
Sam's keeping it positive tonight because he nailed another parlay that he robbed us all. You know, he wasn't generous enough to share with the timeline.
Oh, did you?
Did I what?
Did you nail a parlay tonight?
Yeah, I did.
Look at this guy. He's so happy. Fucking scumbag. But like, no, like I don't know. Like, what am I supposed to say about Jericho Sims? He's a third string center.
He's put in a horrible position.
Whose Tibbs is like demanding starts because he doesn't want to play Hartenstein to start the half. But the funniest part about this, Hartenstein, what did Hartenstein play? The final fucking like 20 minutes the first half?
18 or no, 20. Yeah, 20. Yeah, I think it was 20.
Like why? Like, can you just start him? Like, doesn't that just make sense at that point? What the fuck are we talking about? I don't understand it. I'm sorry. Like, we can sit here and talk about the Quickly thing forever. At least, like, the guard options are real. Like, they're not, like, jokes. Like, the guys, like starting Sims over Hartenstein is actually a joke. Like, that's actually, like...
Bro, he let Zubac, like, cook him for, like, the first, like, 4 minutes of the game. Like, and that poster, that was brutal.
That was... Yeah, and the MSG broadcast
has been brutal.
Has been so fucking embarrassing those last couple of games. Like, yeah, like really? They spent more time cooking Jericho Sims for getting fucking like postered by Zubac than they've spent on any positive Knicks event like the last few. Like, I'm sorry, Alan Hahn
is horrible.
And Breen tonight, this guy, I'm like, buddy, I would like to see what your donations were to the NYPD. I would love to see that because this fucking guy was on his fucking like, oh, look, you don't like to see guys get ejected and it seemed excessive, but we don't know if Hart said the magic word when you said the magic. Shut the fuck up about the magic word. The magic word, suck my dick. That's the magic word. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. You're on the fucking MSG broadcast. It's okay to just like.
They're both too used to being on national, media. Like they are like in that brain mode all the time. But man, it's been brutal. I didn't know someone could be worse than Wally, but Alan Hahn somehow is able to surpass him in insufferability. Yeah, he's been horrible. But
the Norman Powell of just like
that was insane.
Obviously, this just like. God, I hate the word triggers, but whatever. This just shines a light on my bias because, Quickly is one of my two favorite players on the team. And we have a better sixth man. Like, and they're acting like Norman Powell's EPM. Norman Powell's in like the 13th percentile in EPM this year. He hasn't been good. He had a negative EPM last year. Like, if you want somebody to just, if you want to shine a light on somebody who just exposes people's bias, like, oh, this guy just has a special ability. And by the way, Schwinn, I can't believe you didn't point this out on the timeline. They give Powell an and one, and then both RJ and Quickly do the same thing, and it's on the floor both times. And I was just like, what the? Is it just because Powell's
the refs were an absolute clown show today?
It couldn't have just been because it went in, because RJ's went in. RJ had an and one, and they took it away from him. I'm sick of the Norman Powell thing. It was a joke last year when he was put in the conversation with Brogdon.
Norman Powell fucking sucks. He fucking sucks. He's dog shit. I don't care how many points that guy scores. There's a reason that no fucking team gives a shit about him when he's on their team. The Raptors didn't give a fuck when he's on their team. The fucking Blazers were happy to dump him as soon as they could. The fucking Clippers they would have fucking loved to trade his ass in the fucking Harden trade. You know why they couldn't? Because Morey was like, go fucking fuck yourself. Like nobody fucking wants this guy. He absolutely sucks. Fuck him and fuck Alan Hahn. Alan Hahn was a joke tonight. Oh my God, look at how his hands. Oh, his hands.
Look at the hands. Look at the hands. Look at the hands.
What the hell was he even talking about? Like, I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. Like, he fouled RJ like 4 times before he got called for it. Is that what you wanted me to look for? Get the fuck out of my face. Go root for Russell Westbrook, fucking scumbag.
Yeah, he has been absolutely brutal in the calls.
The Schwinn apology video that Matthew Miranda writes in 2 days is gonna be must see Twitter TV.
Oh my gosh. Man, people are really demanding, us talk about IQ more. I mean, people are saying, that is the main problem with this team. We have our good friend James. He says, good point, Schwinn, my brother. Brunson also dribbles like a Harlem Globetrotter compared to IQ.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I saw. I wasn't sure if that was like. I didn't know if that was a compliment of Brunson or criticism or like a criticism of IQ.
It's open for interpretation.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters. Just play them together. How about that? And then we can just be like, oh, look at this Harlem Globetrotter and look at this January 6th disciple.
Hokai 420. He says this. I think Thibs is losing them now. I also think this putrid offense that he is incapable of increasing the ceiling of is taking a toll on them, buy-in wise. Too much selfish ball and just standing. I mean, do we think that's why we've heard much more, I guess, complaints?
I make a joke about it every stream. The buy-in thing, I guess I just have to believe that Tibbs has some superpower, because in my opinion, he should have lost some of these guys years ago.
Should have lost quickly
every year.
Yeah, like I don't get how he got quickly to move past the Alec Burks thing. But
maybe
Tibbs
loves Jesus.
He could, yeah, they could go to church together. I guess no way. No. Do they have like?
I gotta watch film on Sundays.
Well, they also like don't. Maybe they have like Diet Coke at some churches, or and to quick gets them to go by that. Look, I have no comment on the buy-in thing. Yeah, like they still play hard for him, and like
the effort to me has not been the issue at all throughout. Like, are they fucking up? Are they playing bad defense? Yeah, but I don't watch them and think like Randle, when he fucks up, it's just like so obvious that it's about effort. But like even his effort overall, I'm like, yeah, I don't feel like they're like not trying right now.
Want to see a team with no buy-in? Watch the Detroit Pistons.
Schwinn, is the Bills' defense still good? Random question. It's good, right? Do you expect them to play well tomorrow?
I expect them to do what needs to be done to win by at least 2 points.
They're the 3rd cheapest defense in DraftKings. That's silly, right? Like that's got to be good value.
Feels like a good spot for them. It feels like a good spot. But I don't know if this was your point, but like, look, defensive coordinators in the NFL all the time, because this is the nature of the sport, just have to deal with like huge injuries to critical players. And that changes your scheme. That changes what you do. You gotta get the fuck over it, and you gotta fucking still deliver. And like, I get that Mitchell Robinson was massively important to Tibbs' scheme defensively and just all kinds of things. But I'm so sick and tired of hearing about every fucking time the Knicks lose a game. Oh my God, this is why we need more wing. We need wings with size. We need wings with size. We need wings with size. Like what are you watching defensively?
That was a good Trump impersonation, by the way.
Yeah, what are you fucking watching here that you're like, oh, if he only had fucking OG Anunoby, it's gonna be so fucking different. OG Anunoby, what did he do tonight? Fucking pissed and shit himself again. Like, You know,
How
like
do you think the Raptors played today?
didn't they? They played. Oh no, sorry, they played last night, and he pissed himself last night. That's my bad. But like, I'm sorry, like I just don't see the issues with this team right now being like, well, guys are just making shots over dudes in areas that are tough because we don't have the size. We're giving up too many shots that are in flow, that are in rhythm. We're not disrupting teams. We're not getting into teams. We're not making them feel us.
You have a bunch of open threes. Like
We're like
big wings aren't gonna fix that.
You gotta make like when you get into a fucking half court set. If Kawhi Leonard's gonna come off a brush screen, that's fine. But you gotta make him fucking earn it. You gotta make him come off that screen. You gotta make him fucking earn it. You can't just be like, well, I'll come and trail him off the fucking screen and I'll chase him.
On the screen.
You gotta fucking try. You gotta fucking try to deny what they want to do. And Jeff brought this up after the Utah game, and I think this is really, really noteworthy. He mentioned how, like, you know, the stuff that makes Quickly special, maybe you're seeing a little bit less of that this year. I actually have been really, really happy with what I've seen from him in his 7 minutes per game in the last 2 games. But like, it's all the stuff. It's the extra rotations. It's the stunting at the elbow. It's making the rotation. It's, you know, going to the strong side and getting all the way back to the weak side. It's all that shit. But like, I don't say that to praise Quickly so much as like, that's what it is to make a team. When you hear coaches talk about this all the time, like, they didn't feel us tonight. Like, that's like, when you do shit like that, that makes them feel you. And even if you're not directly impacting a play and you're not directly contesting a play, that shit matters. Like, when you have to actually fucking work for it, it matters. And I just think too much right now. There's too many minutes happening where guys don't feel the Knicks defenders. Even if the Knicks defenders are in the right place, even if the Knicks defenders are technically making the right rotations and decisions, they don't feel it. And that's a really big problem. And that's a problem I've had with Grimes. Like, that was a problem I had with Grimes while he was starting this year. Me and Jeff talked about this a lot. But like it's, yeah, dude, it's cool that you're like contesting Jason Tatum, but he didn't feel you there. He didn't know you were fucking in the spot. Like, you oh God, don't clip that. That was a crazy thing. But you know, you can't, like, you're not really challenging him, right? Like, you're not really challenging him. And that's how I feel about a lot of the stuff I'm seeing right now with the Knicks, where it's like, yeah, I don't think a lot of these shots are uncontested, but I also don't think they're out of rhythm. And I don't think, like, the contests even matter, because I think these guys are just shooting it like nobody's there.
So first of all, Sam's going to be laughing about that for months. You know, like, that's just that fuels him. Second of all, there was a multiple possession stretch that I think highlights what Schwinn's trying to say really well. So one of Quickly's first possessions in the game in the third quarter, he got isolated onto Russell Westbrook on the near side, and the whole strong side was cleared out for him. And Westbrook faced up behind the 3-point line and then methodically backed in and overpowered Quickly and got a super easy layup. And Quickly kind of looked behind him and looked at his teammates and was just like kind of looking around confused. But anybody watching that would be right to just be like, oh, Russ just Quickly can't guard. Quickly's not big enough to guard Russ. That's what happened there. Tibbs,
which is technically kind of what happened there, right?
Which is what happened. Yeah. Tibbs decides, okay, next time down the court, we're going to put Brunson on him because I like Brunson's lower center of gravity on Russ. Watch what Quickly does the next 2 times, because they went to Russ 3 possessions in a row. Go watch where Quickly is for those 2 possessions. The second time, Quickly does the hover in and out of the paint thing. Russ really times it well because Quickly's trying not to get the 3 in the key. When Quickly steps out of the lane, Russ cooks Brunson for another layup, 2 for 2. Third time down, Quickly pre-stunts instead of only half stunting. He's just already on the strong side with 2 feet on the block. Russ is forced to make a pass to the corner, quickly recovers all the way across the court to the corner. The Clippers don't get a basket. And those are the things, if you're a normal fan, just average fan who doesn't know what or who isn't locked into the nuances of defense, your takeaway from those 3 possessions would be, oh, well, Russ cooked both Brunson quickly. And you're not thinking beyond that in terms of defensive impact. But what those possessions actually showed you is that while Quickly is a limited on-ball defender, there's so much more going on with defense. And he showed it as the possessions transpired and as they evolved.
He got the rebound on that other play. I think it triggered a fast break, and Randle got a layup.
Yep, that was the start of the 9-0 run. And the point is that I don't think anyone would disagree that Quickly is going to, I don't think, get hunted, because I still do think that the nearest percentage numbers and how he does one-on-one versus most players, he'd still be able to hold his own versus most players. But I think most would agree that.
You think he could check like a dominant scorer like Norman Powell, though?
He did in this game. Powell was like 0 for 2 percent. I take that matchup very personally. I'm very offended that people group them together. It's very stupid to me. But I think most people, even his most ardent defenders like me, would agree that on-ball defense, is the quote-unquote weak point of his defense. But I think it's essential to point out that there's just so much more going on. And yeah, I don't think enough people recognize that.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I don't know. I'm just going to read this because this is from James. You were like, what is the difference between Brunson and IQ? And in addition to what you said, Brunson can break down the D off the dribble with style.
Wow, that pause.
Which is not IQ's in parentheses, will/forte. If I don't remember saying that, but if I did say that, maybe I said it and I didn't mean it in the sense of like I totally 100% believe there's like a huge difference between Brunson and IQ as players. I actually think like that's why they play really well together, is they amplify each other's strengths and weaknesses and whatever. But yeah, like I don't know. Like yes, Brunson's better at breaking a defense down off the dribble. I don't think there's any question about that. And IQ has he's got like I wouldn't say a January 6th dribble, but he's got like he's got like a very like Ivy League cultured
style.
Yeah, he's got a very Ivy League cultured handle, very, very professional handle, but not necessarily the most creative. This is from Hawkeye 420. I don't want to believe. I feel like Hawkeye is really going through it, by the way. I don't want to believe.
A roller coaster of emotions for him this week.
Yeah, I don't want to believe because they were a top 10 defense most of the season and they had played the Bucks and Celtics one time. This collapse has started since the second Bucks games. I don't know. I'm seeking answers because 1 week of ass is alarming to me. I don't know. 1 week of ass is you might be doing well for yourself. And it's probably not going to get better looking at the schedule and our amazing coach. And then he also mentioned this earlier. I hate to say it, but is the problem they're too small? Pause. Is the size matters? Get 7-foot wings, crowd on the right. No, I'll tell you why they're not right. And this is just very, very basic. Which player on the Clippers tonight was cooking dudes that had a size mismatch?
Kawhi was cooking big ass Randle, so
yeah, like we've kind of talked about this in our Discord a little bit, but it's like if you want to like say the Knicks don't have a big wing, it's that he's there.
He's just not doing big wing things.
Yeah, you just got to do it. You just got to do it sometimes. And like I really like I want to be like I really have zero interest in criticizing Randle for tonight. Like do I think he had some bad fucking defensive possessions and stretches? Absolutely, sure. But like I Jeff, you can tell me what you think. But like I didn't feel like watching this game. I was not like, man, if Randle wasn't there tonight, they would have fucking killed it. Like that. This is
No.
not one of those games. This is like a game where I was just like, all right, Randle had a bad defensive stretch and fucking whatever.
Not every game is a full indictment on the macro of the season. And especially not every game is like won or lost because of the macro errors. But it's not really interesting for us to sit on here and talk about how the Clippers shot 1 million free throws and shot 1 billion% from three. Like, those two things are the number one reason the Clippers won the way they did. I don't think any one thing cost the Knicks the game. I just think that the thing I do think they're more interesting to talk about because people want the Knicks to eventually succeed on the highest level. And like, of course, they're not going to succeed on the highest level if teams are just relentlessly shooting 40 free throws and shooting 60% from three. But the other things do matter, like the accountability, the rotation. And I don't want to talk about it either, but as long as night in, night out, these are at the forefront, I think we kind of have to talk about them because they're right there. They're staring us in the face. And yeah, Julius Randle didn't cost the Knicks the game. He wasn't even necessary.
Yeah. I mean, he just didn't have a good game. It happens, like fucking happens. Like this, like, we talked this the other night when we played Utah, and it was like RJ had a shitty game. Fucking happens, man. Fucking like it happens. But like, and let's be real. Like, if you told me right now, going into this stretch of West Coast games, the Knicks would be 1-2, I would be like, okay, great. Like, that's fine. Like I wouldn't be like super thrilled about it, but I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. Now, yes, is it annoying that they lost the game they should have fucking won and they won it and they kind of stole a game in Phoenix? Sure, but like, it's okay. But within the context of that, like, it does, like, we do need to be able to just be like, hey, this guy sucked tonight. That's it. Like, and that doesn't mean like look, I think all of us, Sam, Jeff, like me, we've all look. I think we're all very much like have made our macro opinions of Julius Randle pretty clear. But does that mean that like I'm fully capable of like I like to think this anyway of just like praising when he plays really well. I thought he was I like there were people that were shitting on him after the Phoenix game and I didn't really get it. I was just like I'm fine with how he played. And like me and Sam talked about this last night where it was like, yeah, he fucked up a couple times, but like I thought his decisions were genuinely in like
the intentions were good, but the execution.
Yeah, the intentions, yeah. And I actually felt like most of his offensive stuff tonight, like it wasn't necessarily great, but I thought his intentions were like better than the bad version of Julius. He just had a terrible 12-minute stretch on defense where I was like, I don't know what to like do with this. Like I don't understand how like he's just such a weird player where it's like it feels like when he gets frustrated with officiating or not making shots or whatever, it manifests in the most annoying ways possible. Where it's like, I refuse to try on defense right now, and I'm like, but like, what if you did? Like, what if you did? And
we might have a better chance.
Yeah, like what if you just did though? Like he's just a fucking enigma, man. Like the Julius Randle thing was, it will never be. It will always be amazing, and one day when it's all over, we will look back at this and be like, wow, what an insane player.
As his jersey goes up in the rafters.
I just want to say,
Offside 420 just confirmed,
dude.
I am down bad.
If Randall's jersey goes in the rafters, things will have gone very well. Like,
or they will have gone really bad.
How? What is an outcome where Randle gets his jersey
the fact
retired?
that they are in the rafters is the bad thing that's happening.
I'm like being very facetious. I actually agree with you. The Knicks, for whatever reason, for a franchise that does not have like historic levels of success, they have very high standards for numbers being retired. So I agree with you. If Randall's number does get retired, we probably like made it to a couple finals or something at the bare minimum.
Right. That was the thrust of my point. I agree. Or like
let's
even
talk about the Broncos.
God, please no.
No, let's
That
do
was
it. Let's do
pathetic.
it.
Okay. What do you want to ask about the Broncos getting their
What
asses-
happened with the Sean Payton thing? I didn't actually watch in this game. I heard there's Sean Payton thing happening with like Russell Wilson or something, and
It was weird. It's actually funny that you asked because I wish that somebody could tell me what happened. I was watching the game on mute. I was like, "Do you know, Sam?"
No,
Oh,
I had the volume off because the game was out of hand. I was just
Sam
Yeah, I
was
was-
too busy
so-
counting his parlay.
no.
so Schwinn, what
I'm
happened?
fucking a millionaire now. I'm saying
I wish
The
more like
overall
100
got this public school teacher money.
Yo, do not get me started on public school funding, please.
the what happened, Schwinn, was the Broncos had the ball on the 1 yard line on second down. And they ran it, and it looked like a touchdown, but they didn't call it a touchdown. The refs were like, no, not in. And then they ran it again on third down, and it looked like a touchdown again. The announcers were, I think they're saying on Twitter, the announcers even thought it was a touchdown, and the refs were like, no, not in. And then it's 4th and goal from like the half-yard line, and they ran it again, and they finally got in, but they called that stupid offsides call.
Oh
that they called
yeah.
on
I had
Tony.
the game off mute for that part. Yes, that's what happened. Oh my god, that shit was hilarious.
Okay. But then, Sam, okay, so maybe you can clarify because this is what Schwinn's asking.
Mhm.
So they called the offsides, and then the Broncos ended up having they did kick a field goal. I obviously would have gone for it, but whatever.
Mhm.
And they cut to the sidelines, and Sean Payton is just tearing into Russell Wilson. Did they comment on what that was at all, or
No, I don't
because it wasn't from my vantage point, it didn't seem like Russ's fault, like at all. So the only thing I can think, is that Peyton called for a QB sneak, and Russ called an audible at the line.
He checked
and
out.
And Peyton was like, "You fucking pussy," you know. Like,
I wish you were as insane as Josh Allen right now.
yeah,
Josh Allen would have audibled into a fucking quarterback sneak right now.
Yeah, I don't
Dude.
remember them saying anything, and then David says, yeah, they didn't comment on it. Yeah, they didn't say
Dude,
anything
Drew
about that.
Brees would have done the leap over the line, hold the ball over the line for a second thing. I guess Russ doesn't have the Drew Brees hops.
He's not built like that, bro.
Yeah.
He's not built like Drew Brees.
But like when they called that offsides, I was like, he didn't even look like he was offsides. So like what the hell was that call? I don't know.
It was very weird because they showed a really good down the line shot of the ball, and there was definitely nobody ahead of the ball. So
What if it was maybe they thought he was Kadarius Toney?
could have. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not gonna act like it was like that didn't have any effect on the outcome of the game. The Broncos sucked and they shit them. Like they're just doing the thing that I was so sure they were gonna do. They're just gonna end the season 7-8 or whatever. Jesus, math. 8-9 or 7-10 and have like the 16th pick or something. And I'm just gonna want to find I don't know, it's stupid.
Shotgun.
I wonder.
I was gonna say a bridge.
Yeah, I was gonna say a bridge, but then I didn't want to, make light of that sort of thing, But you guys ran with it, so.
Hey, you crawled so that we could run,
Glad to serve as your inspiration for suicide joke.
I think it's okay though. Like I don't know. I get why you're like I don't know. I think the Broncos are fine and they're fine. I think it's fine. I think it's more important that you know that Sean Payton doesn't suck than having a good draft pick.
Yeah, he's good. No, I agree. And that Russ doesn't suck. Russ had a good season.
He has a good season.
Yeah.
And you also found out that okay, no, I wasn't wrong to keep believing in Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. They're real. They matter. Yes.
Yeah. Just build the talent around them and they can be fine. They can't win a Super Bowl, but they can be
just
fine.
don't tell Steve Smith.
Yeah, poor guy.
He hates Jerry Jeudy. Oh my god.
Look at Sam. Look at how he's got this huge smile saying that too. He's like, God, I love Steve Smith. That's my guy.
No, I just thought that bit was hilarious. Like he absolutely has the most smoke for Jerry Jeudy. Like that just feels like the most random beef ever.
So random.
Yeah, like why do you just hate Jerry Jeudy? What did he do to you? Where did Steve Smith go to school? He didn't go to some big school, right?
He didn't. He definitely went to like, I don't even know if it was Division One. Because from that era, I mean, look, I'm not gonna get into it, but from that era, I know where most people went to college, and it's not popping in my head. So I'd be surprised if he went to a
I'm
not
looking it up
JUCO.
right now. Steve Smith.
He went to the He went to
Santa
Santa
Monica
Monica,
College.
and then yeah, he went to Santa Monica and then Utah. Apparently,
Oh, he must. Did he play for Urban Meyer?
I think Urban Meyer was only at Utah. No, he would have been at Bowling Green at this time.
Yeah. Okay.
He was at Utah for like 3 seasons, and Alex Smith was drafted in 2005. So I would guess that Urban Meyer was at Utah from like 02 or 03 to 05, and then he went to Florida, won some
Urban
championships.
Meyer, just an awful person, but luckily Ohio State found themselves a totally as good replacement in Ryan Day. Just a great coach, wins all the important games.
In a weird way, Schwinn, Ohio State cost you a national championship last season. Because if Marvin Harrison doesn't get whatever happened to him in that Georgia game, get cheap shot and knocked out, and Ohio State holds on, I think Michigan just wins and then beats Ohio State in the national championship game. They're extra motivated. I think they were a little bit let down that Georgia ended up winning that game, and that's what cost them against TCU.
I don't know if I agree with you, but I like that. That's a good. That's going to be my reasoning from now on.
That's all I was going for. I was trying to fuel your Ohio State hate even more. I was trying to paint a picture where
why we lost the national championship because of Ohio State.
Yep, exactly. It's good logic too.
Yeah. All right. Do we have anything else? Is there anything else you want to talk about this game? Because I just am like, I don't know. I don't know.
Is Jericho Sims he's done, right? Like that's it?
What do you mean?
Like Taj is just gonna start next game, right?
No.
I mentioned that the last stream and Shun was like, no, just switch Sims and Hartenstein's minutes. Not minutes, but
okay,
like
fine. Hartenstein starts next game and Taj comes off the bench, right?
I don't think so. I think he really I really think he likes Sims. I do think he likes Sims.
Dude,
I think
preseason showed that.
Tibbs is gonna be in his office chugging Diet Coke tonight, and somebody's gonna hand him the updated net rating stats, and he's gonna see Taj Gibson's 2-game sample of being among the team leaders, jerk off to it, and then start Taj next game. That's what's gonna happen.
I looked up the I was looking at the Knicks net rating stuff tonight, or this I guess yesterday morning now. But like I saw it, it was like Taj was like, because he played like 30 seconds, they made a 3, and so it was like net rating was like plus 15 or whatever the hell it was. But I was laughing about it because I was like, man, we just had to play Taj more. Like the solution was there all along. That's really all it was. Let's go to this. Do you unironically believe that Taj Gibson would be better in the service of winning basketball games than Jericho Sims right now, regardless of role?
Yeah. I think the Knicks will be better off when Taj enters the rotation, and I think it will happen. I think they'll have more space. I think he'll have quicker processing. I think he can
catch the ball.
Right. I don't know. I don't think Sims does, especially against starters. Like, do I think that Sims probably deserves a chance to come off the bench with the bench unit? And I don't know. I don't believe in the whole like the Knicks bench unit plays other bench units thing, because I've seen how Tibbs rotates. I've seen how other NBA teams rotate. I've seen the teams our bench unit ends up playing against. Like, we always play against opposing starters because Tibbs is the only one who's doing this archaic sub rotation.
I mean, in the fourth quarter yesterday, we saw our bench versus like Devin Booker and Kevin Durant on the court. Like,
right.
And they managed to play well. Who could?
Yeah.
How could that happen?
Wild what happens when you put Emmanuel quickly on the court with guys like Quentin Grimes and RJ Barrett. Wild.
It's crazy.
Wild.
I do think that Sims should be given the chance to come off the bench, but unironically, I believe that Taj Gibson will be a more impactful basketball player in the short term. And like I wouldn't look.
And we
There
know
are
Tibbs is
things.
all
There
about
are
the short
things.
term.
I think I've been pretty nice to Tibbs all season. I think he's deserved it. I do think I have legitimate gripes with him. I will not begrudge him whatsoever if and when he makes that decision.
Yeah, and I think ultimately, like the reason why you can't begrudge him if that is the decision that's made, if and whenever it's made, if it does happen. If the object of the season is to be as competitive as you can be, at a certain point, like if Sims isn't giving you it, then you have to try the other option. But you can't do that at the guard position, and you definitely can't start Emmanuel Quickly at the 2 because that's impossible. All right, great. Let's do this. Get out of here.
All right. I think that will do it for us. We'll be back on
2:18 in the morning. Jesus Christ. West Coast trips end, please, for the love of God.
Well, it ends on Monday after the Lakers game. Hopefully the Knicks are able to take care of business in that one. Be very interesting.
Sam, in your Showly episode or Showly segment of player who was hurt who will magically be healthy, who is the Laker that was hurt who is going to play Monday night?
Reddish and Gabe Vincent. I heard Gabe Vincent's on the mend.
Oh, I need Gabe Vincent out there. I need quickly to get out.
Was Anthony Davis actually hurt against the Spurs, or was that just like a rest?
I think that was a rest thing.
Okay, so he was resting up for the Knicks.
Yes,
I think what they did is
because they played the Spurs on
they played and it was after the in-season
tournament
thing.
Yeah.
So I think what they did is they gave LeBron the first game off, and they gave AD the second game off. That's what it was. AD does not count for Sam's thing. Like does not count.
No. But Cam Reddish and Gabe Vincent definitely do.
Yeah, those two count.
Those two will definitely be fully healthy. The Lakers will have their full rotation versus us.
Cam Reddish revenge game. Really looking forward to what would happen if he exploded for 12 points in that game.
I was gonna say 7 points, three rebounds, and 2 steals.
What was we didn't talk about this at all. What was the deal with the there was a lot of anger on the timeline about the not double tech on Randle and Mann.
I don't get it.
From my perspective, it looked like Randle hit him in the face. What am I missing there?
Mann walked in, he walked into him. He instigated the whole thing.
Yeah.
Randle was just walking, Randle was demonstrative. If you want to give him a tech, that's fine.
Well,
you can't give him a tech and not give Mann a tech there. That's just what it is. If you're gonna give one guy a tech, honestly, it could have just been nobody needed to get a tech there as far as I was concerned. What happened? Nothing happened. Yeah, nothing fucking happened there. It was just guys bumped into each other and
2 angry black men. That's it. They're getting demonized for showing emotion.
I can't comment on that. Neither can Jeff. So. I will. I look forward to the Bills Cowboys game tomorrow. That's where I'm out.
All right.
I actually went deaf and didn't hear what Sam said at all. So I didn't just absolutely.
Jeff doesn't see color.
I don't. Colorblind over here, baby. Me and the rest of South Carolina. We're all perfectly in line in that. We only see one color.
Yeah. The Confederate flag.
I've actually never seen one of those here. I must live in a good area.
Yeah.
Good for me.
Stay there.
I choose good neighborhoods. Yeah.
Okay, for 20. Tommy DeVito, 2 passing touchdowns. I'll give you that.
Puka Nacua, 71.5. And if you can get alternate receiving yards on Puka Nacua,
ladder that.
Anything up to 100.
I don't normally do props, but so I don't have any. But all I can tell you is that Giants +6. That's fine. That's my one. And I kind of like Giants money line now too. Apparently, given some of these Saints injuries they might be having.
Oh, there is
Olave might not be playing. Yeah, he might.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna get smacked then.
Yeah, and then Derek Carr just being Derek Carr, and apparently everybody hates him. I think this is
the Saints fans want to murder him.
Saints fans are they're so creative in how much they hate him. It's so like it makes me feel sorry for him, but like there was like some almost roughing the passer last week or something where like the guy pulled up and the Saints fan was like, "Damn, dude, come on, just this is our." He was like, it was so wild. Like they want him gone, man. It's wild.
The funniest thing is that they were hyping him up so much before the season.
He's like their Alfred Payton. He's like Elf. He's like
he is their elf. I don't know if you guys saw the Pistons fan thread that went viral today.
Yes,
That's legitimately the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Dude,
it was like if we killed like 5 players.
Oh, okay. No, yes, I did see that. That was really but I was talking about, dude. There's this dude. Okay, yeah, yours is way funnier. Yeah, they're looking to unlock the special clause if they get
disaster draft.
Yeah, but no, there was a thread that went viral on Twitter today after the Pistons started 2-1 of like all the Pistons fans like dunking on the rest of the league, and it's just like the whole thread is like they said we were gonna suck, like they were already celebrating how good the Pistons were. It's fucking comedy, man.
I feel really bad for them. Because whatever. Look, we're Knicks fans. We've seen it. I know a dysfunctional organization when I see one. That's a dysfunctional organization.
Bro, they want to trade for Tobias Harris to save their season.
Yeah, Tobias Harris, please save us.
That's wild. That I can't believe that popped up.
Tobias Harris is basically Luke Skywalker if you think about it.
Go on. I'm very, very curious to hear where you're going with this. I am made of questions.
Tobias Harris is like I don't know. He's like the guy that he's like Greedo. He's like Wuhan.
Okay, this took a turn.
Wuhan shoots in the bar. That's
dude, I know who Greedo is, but yes, you went from Luke Skywalker to Greedo.
I was totally joking about Luke Skywalker.
Oh.
It's like, but that's how they perceive him. They're like, oh my god, what if he brings balance to the Force? So, like no, I don't think you guys are like so far away from needing balance with the Force. Like, don't worry about the balance. Don't worry about the fucking balance.
I do think you're seeing just like Monty Williams just isn't even trying. Like, I don't know. You obviously can only see so much, but the difference between what he's doing in Detroit and what Ime Udoka is doing in Houston is just wild. And Matt, you nailed. I mean, I will say you probably went 1 for 2 because we both did. We talked about how like Detroit and Houston, they're going to infuse this good culture, and because we thought highly of Monty Williams, and he deserved it.
Pastor Williams.
It turns out if you have to pay a guy to want to coach, maybe they don't want to coach that bad.
Monty Williams wants to be a pastor. He doesn't want to be a coach.
This is the Larry Brown thing. This is the Larry Brown. This is Larry Brown in New York. That's what it is. This guy got a fucking payday, and now he's like, great, I got my payday. Do you want to get rid of me? If you want to get rid of me, do you want to pay me to get rid of me? Because I'm happy to do that. But I'm not going to not take my money. So it's your problem now. It's brutal to watch. I feel really bad for the players there. I feel bad for their fans. And
bro, their fans aren't getting free wings. They're supposed to get free wings after wins. Their fans are starving.
They've not eaten in 2 months. They're not like, I haven't eaten since you guys won in fucking October. Why?
Wingstop is making bread off of the.
It's a good promotion for Wingstop. Good for them.
It is. Oh, man. All right. We'll be back on Monday, folks. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. Shout out to everyone that stayed up with us till almost 2:30. We'll be back at fucking
12:30 on Monday, too. Jesus fucking Christ.
Shout out the NBA scheduling. Wait, by the way, what the hell is up with the NBA scheduling? The Sixers get to face the Pistons, the Wizards, and the Hawks like 3 times in a week, and we have to face like the whole Western Conference in like a week and a half. Like, what the hell?
Their schedule's been a joke.
Yeah, their schedule has been really stupidly late to start the season. But they are.
I think.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say maybe it's a conspiracy, like they colluded to get Morey that extension. You know, like hot start, boom.
Yeah,
Way to get Joel Embiid another MVP.
that exception was nuts. But
I'd vote for him today. I mean, I thought him winning MVP last year was a joke. Pun intended. But I actually think it kind of sucks that he won for him because, you know, he went out like he has in the past in the playoffs. I think voters are going to be a bit more reticent to give it to him, and he actually deserves it so far this season. And not even be, I think if Jokic was playing as good as he'd played the previous 3 seasons, I think Embiid would still deserve it based on impact so far this season. Dude's been amazing. Let's see what happens as the schedule toughens up, but Embiid's just been absolutely incredible.
All right.
Yeah. Fuck Embiid.
Yeah, I like that Schwinn had to give the super pained sigh before agreeing. He's like, I don't know if I can do this.
And then I didn't agree. I said, fuck Embiid.
All right. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. Everyone enjoy your Sunday football. Make sure you guys check all the links in the description. We got links to the site, merch, Patreon, and Twitter. Make sure you guys are following us on Twitter. I know a bunch of you are watching on Twitter, and now you guys can comment from Twitter. So shout out to Twitter for that update, I guess.
And just good luck to all the Giants fans. I know they're all really rooting for a victory here. I know they really want to make the playoffs. So.
Oh man, Tyrese is going to be in shambles tomorrow after the Saints lose.
He'll be in shambles when he watches some of this game.
All right. Everyone enjoy your Sunday football, and we will see you on Monday. Peace.